Oh my goodness. Are we live? I think we're live, man.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry for the delay, folks.
Are we live?
Jesse was watching some Britt Baker footage.
Think we're live.
NXT tonight, man. It feels weird. It feels weird doing NXT on a Wednesday night and not AEW Dynamite. We got NXT Takeover on Saturday night. We got the build, the final build, the final hype.
It feels weird. Stay on a Wednesday night.
We got Johnny Gargano and Ridge Holland.
Dynamite.
We got Velveteen Dream and Finn Balor.
Takeover on Saturday night.
And we got Triple H with the Takeover conference call. All the news and notes coming out of that conference call. It's going to be great. How many people in the chat already? Let's get this going, man. Jesse and I are back on Wednesday night. This is your NXT review. Right here on Off the Scripts.
On.
Alive with people still What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Off the Script. Sorry for the delay. My buddy here was watching old Britt Baker footage. Couldn't help himself. This guy was actually watching All Out instead of NXT tonight. He's going back and forth. Jesse, what's going on, man? What is going on?
Not much. How is everybody tonight, man?
We got a big show. We got Takeover on Saturday night. We got Triple H and the Takeover conference call to discuss this evening. Lots came out of that conference call that I took notes on. I listened to some of it, but not all of it, but I got the gist of it. And we're going to go over that here on the show this evening. Thank you for joining us here on Off the Scripts. On top of that, man, we got not only the conference call from Triple H, we got a big story that I don't see a lot of people reporting about. And it's something that me and Jesse have been kind of going back and forth on just ourselves as we text watching these shows every week. Something that a lot of people are not talking about. There was a breaking story that happened on Ringside News. Lead NXT writer Joe Belcastro quit NXT. So if you guys are wondering why NXT doesn't feel the same, it could be for that very reason. We'll go over that story as well. Triple H explains also why Velveteen Dream is back on TV. He seems to be back in the good graces of everybody in NXT management after tonight, being that he has a takeover match and not Finn Balor. And then there's a report. We got Vince McMahon reportedly not involved in creative down at NXT, which I do not believe whatsoever. But that is a report coming out from The Observer, and Brian Alvarez will go over that as well here tonight. On top of the show, which I didn't really care all that much about, the one thing that I really did care about, and thankfully he's okay, and I hope he is still okay, is Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano took a scary bump tonight. We'll go over that as well as everything else that happened on the show with NXT. Jesse, doesn't it feel weird? I know you are in the same boat that I am. Doesn't it feel weird to watch NXT first, being that they were the only show tonight, first and not an AEW? I don't think I've watched an NXT show like this, first and foremost on a Wednesday night, since September, before AEW went all out with their debut on October 4th.
Nah, it didn't feel right, man.
No, it didn't feel right at all.
It didn't. I'm used to watching NXT at like, 1, 2 in the morning or sometime tomorrow morning. It just doesn't feel right at all.
Do you think that NXT, and being that this is our first NXT podcast because AEW was preempted for the NBA playoffs, do you think that NXT is going to get a bigger rating than normal tonight? And if they don't, because this was a topic of discussion in the community, and if they don't, does it mean NXT isn't going to fare successfully on Wednesday nights?
If they don't, here's the thing about it. If they don't pop a serious rating tonight, how do I explain this? It's not good for NXT, but I think it's also a knock on the wrestling community as a whole, because there's literally no reason to not turn to NXT tonight. Even if you just want to turn to it, and look, Vince and Triple H watch AEW, and not because they're just sitting there with their t-shirts and their hats on marking out like fans. They watch because it's the competition and they need to keep up on what's going on. So if you're a wrestling fan, and even if you hate NXT, why not watch and just see what the hell they're doing over there? So I don't know. I don't get that part. Like, everybody should be watching NXT tonight. There's no other wrestling on.
Yeah, I said it on my Twitch stream earlier, which, by the way, I got my first win in Fall Guys. It felt like winning a world fucking championship. Thank God that's over with now. Hopefully the second, third, fourth, fifth will come a lot easier. But I said it because somebody asked me, AEW, and Salrax actually mentioned it to me too all week, if NXT doesn't do at least 800,000 viewers tonight, I don't really think that they are going to generate any more interest than they've already done on Wednesday night. They need to pop a big rating tonight. Here's another question, Jesse. Do you think that AEW is going to lose momentum being on a Saturday night? Have they done enough to get people to know that they're on Saturday night? And even after Saturday night, when they move from Wednesday to Thursday over the next couple of weeks, is it going to be something that's going to stifle their momentum? Because they were doing pretty well, 800, 900,000. I think they dipped last week. They went back to about 750, 760. Are they going to lose momentum with all of these preemptions?
Well, as far as a Saturday rating, I'm expecting a low number, a very, very low number. For two reasons. A, because it's not their normal night. And Saturday night is not a prime spot for primetime programming. It's the weekend. People tend to try to stay away from the weekend from big shows. And then you got the NXT show and everything else. So as far as Saturday goes, I don't think it'll be a great number. Now, when they go back to Wednesdays, I think it'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that it doesn't have any long-lasting effect on them, because they were building something great. And they're in the middle of this all-out build going into their biggest pay-per-view of the year. So tomorrow is going to be a very interesting situation with the NXT ratings. And then I'm not really expecting much like you on Saturday night for AEW, because they're going up against Takeover. And it's going to be bleeding right into Takeover, which, I don't know if they wanted that to be the issue or it was something that they were kind of forced with. This is what you got to do. This is what you're getting. And so be it, tough shit type of situation from TNT. I don't really know yet, but like I said, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting situation with the NXT ratings as they come out in the middle of the afternoon. I'll keep you guys posted on Twitter, which you guys I'm sorry, Jesse, go ahead.
Everybody's making this Saturday move to be like it's definitely a counter programming thing. But I'm not saying it wasn't counter programming, but at the same time, keep in mind, there's only so many days in the week. And it's not like, well, you get preempted on Wednesday, so Tony, pick any day you want in the week and it's all yours. You know, they have other schedules. They have other commitments. TNT is a major network. They don't have, they're picking a litter to go wherever they want. Maybe Saturday evening was the only spot that they had available. I don't know.
Yeah, more than likely. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about it. Neither are you. And the ratings will be out tomorrow. We'll figure out what NXT does and how we attack that here on the show when it comes out tomorrow. Like I said, you guys can follow me on social media for all the information on that, as well as everything else. At JDfromNY206, you guys can follow Jesse as well. His @ is right there on the screen. You can type that in your little Twitter search, and he'll pop up there. Make sure you guys check out all the other videos that I might have, but I have done on the channel. I might have some more content coming this weekend as far as Off the Script Extra, because there's just so much news going into SummerSlam weekend. Don't know what I'm going to be talking about on tomorrow's show yet because it's not recorded as of yet. But I did do an extra on Tuesday, an extra on Wednesday, and there's an extra coming on Thursday. The big news this week was Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. The other big news this week is Renee Young quitting WWE, and she is contractually going to do SummerSlam, and then after SummerSlam, she is no longer going to be with the WWE. Now, Jesse, I talk about this on tomorrow's Off the Script, and I go into about a 6-7 minute spiel on Renee Young, how much I enjoyed her work, and why I think she's leaving, why I think she's not really going to AEW. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. I do think that it was a joint decision between her and Jon Moxley, but I do not think that she's going to AEW. I think Tony Khan might offer her a position, but I think she's just so far beyond the pro wrestling realm. I think she wants to do everything from acting to cooking to... She could really do anything. She could show up on ESPN and do UFC or football or hockey or whatever. She's got that type of personality. What does this mean to you as far as Renee Young leaving the WWE, and where do you see her going after this?
Yeah, like I texted you before, this is a major loss for WWE.
Yep.
Now, is it gonna affect TV and how we know it? No, of course not. And nobody's sitting around watching, any WWE show for Renee Young. I mean, but the woman is extremely talented, man. And like you said, I don't think she's going to AEW either. She can go anywhere. She is literally qualified to show up on any network broadcasting, doing anything she wants. She has a pick of the litter. And I heard Renee Young say on a couple of occasions that when she was diagnosed with COVID, there was not a single person in upper management that reached out to her to ask her how she was doing.
Absolutely. That's one of the first things that I mentioned on tomorrow's show.
Yep, not a single. I remember one of the first things she said, and that alone was probably the catalyst for her saying, "I'm done with this place. They don't care about me. Why am I trying?"
Absolutely. Talking smack. I know you mentioned talking smack to me earlier. You think that is a reason why now the rumor mill is going crazy about one of WWE's most beloved shows coming back? Is WWE really using this as a ploy to keep Renee Young happy? Are they serious?
Well, I mean, look, I don't know. You don't know. Nobody in this chat was in that room. Here's what we know. We know Talking Smack was popular. We know it was spearheaded by Renee Young. We know that the people wanted it back, and we know that Vince didn't like it. But now, all of a sudden, Vince likes it, wants it back, and we also hear that Renee Young is leaving. So I don't think it's a coincidence. Not to the slightest. So now, if they do bring it back, now here's the thing. Who's going to host it? I mean, because like I just said a few minutes ago, it's not like Renee Young was the anchor of the whole company and it's going to fall apart. But at the same time, you want to bring back a show like Talking Smack without Renee Young, it's going to fail. It's going to fail.
Yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity for a Kayla Braxton to step up, or Charlie Caruso's doing Raw Talk. I don't think she does Talking Smack and does both shows, but honestly, like you said, it's a big loss for WWE. I don't think they have anybody to step in there and really fill that void. They've been grooming other female personnel backstage for this type of role, but none of them really measure up to what Renee Young brought to the table. She was beloved by everybody. I don't think anybody had anything bad to say about Renee Young. And the only thing she didn't really do well was the play-by-play commentary color commentary role on WWE TV, but she was thrown in there with absolutely no knowledge of what to do. Nobody trained her in that, so you really can't blame her for that. WWE simply put her there to fit an initiative and to fit an agenda to have a female on the broadcast team, and that was pretty much it. They didn't give a shit who was there. Everybody loves Renee Young. Let's slot her in there. That was pretty much the way that they went about it.
Now, what happens to Total Divas? Is she still on it?
You know, to be honest with you, I think so, but I'm not really completely sure on that. But I don't even think that's a thought in WWE's brain right now, Total Divas. I mean, I didn't even know that show was still going.
Yeah, I think it is. That and Total, they got two now. They got the fucking Bellas have their own spinoff. But yeah, Total Divas was still on. It's not in current. It's in hiatus. But as far as next season, I don't know, because if I'm not mistaken, the talent that does that show is contracted by the network.
Yeah, E Network. Yeah.
So what happens if they leave WWE, but then the network they on E? So if E says, well, we still have her and we want her, does that happen? I don't know. Look, it's not like Total Divas is a fucking concern for anybody, but Renee had a lot of fucking friends in the locker room, man, and it's gonna look like that she was disrespected because Moxley left. That's how it's gonna look.
Yeah, Robert Hall 85 in the chat says she's not on Total Divas anymore.
No,
so
okay.
That's good. Sure. So I mean, that doesn't really, I guess so. Whatever Jesse said is a moot point now anyway. So yeah. It's a big loss, and like I said, guys, I just wanted to get Jesse's take on it because I did the video already for tomorrow. If you guys want my thoughts on it, my extensive thoughts, so that's going to be on Off the Script Extra tomorrow, as well as the first glimpse inside the Thunderdome on Friday night. Justin Barrasso got an exclusive behind-the-scenes look in the Amway Center for the Thunderdome. So if you guys want to see those videos, make sure you check out OTS Extra and today's Extra as well on the channel. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. We're 766 deep right now. I know it's NXT and not AEW, so don't blame it on us, man. We wanted to give you guys content, and here we are tonight. So thank you guys for joining us and spending time here when others, I am sure, are alive. Hit that like button. We got 219 likes. I would like to get that up to about 700 where we are at with the live viewership right now, so please do that for me. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206 if you guys want to go and support the podcast a little extra. And if you guys want to support my sponsor tonight, it's Audible. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. I know a lot of people in here like free shit. So if you guys want to get something for free tonight, all you got to do is sign up using our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. You guys are going to get 30 days free of their service, which is available on iTunes and Google devices, Apple and Android devices. Use our link, download the app, get 30 days free and one free audiobook of your choice. Absolutely fantastic services, Audible, and they got over 200,000 choices to choose from, so make sure you guys go and get that free book and cash it in, thanks to Off the Scripts. Let's hit the news, man. I got a lot of news here, and I want your thoughts on this conference call with Triple H. This was the big news. He does it every takeover. We're getting a takeover, by the way, in October and then again in November. I don't know if you read the news, Jesse, but I don't like that. So they're going from Takeover 30 to an October takeover and then an October takeover into War Games. Now, I think that's a little excessive, don't you think?
Wait, they're having 3 takeovers between here and October?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
on the calendar.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll see Pat McAfee and his goons versus the Undisputed Era in War Games. I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know. Me neither. I was just joking, by the way. If any NXT personnel are watching, please don't take me seriously. We'll talk about Pat McAfee a little bit later, but Triple H, he obviously went an hour tonight, or today rather, with the conference call. He always goes about an hour with these things. Lots of news and notes coming out of this. Lars Sullivan's name's been floating around. He was asked about Lars Sullivan posting workout videos on his Instagram. Lars Sullivan's Instagram is still privated after what had happened to him. There was no confirmation given to WWE about Sullivan even posting these videos, and no confirmation was given on Sullivan's status with the WWE. He's another one, Jesse, just like you told me when NXT went off the air, Velveteen Dream doesn't feel the same. If Lars Sullivan comes back to WWE TV, is he going to have any type of career whatsoever after what was done to him?
Nope. I mean, look, the stuff they're doing with Dream and there's the rumblings of Sutherland, it might float in this empty arena area, but the second they get in front of paying customers, man, those guys are done. Yeah. Done.
Yeah, we'll talk about Velveteen Dream a little bit later. There was another piece of information here about Randy Orton. Someone asked him about Randy Orton in regards to the reports of Orton wanting to work with some of the NXT wrestlers. But it's difficult to make that happen, said Triple H. It's more difficult than people realize. It's easy to fantasize, it's easy to fantasy book, but it's more difficult than people realize, says H. He likely is referring to the long-term storyline plans that are in place that they wouldn't want to change. And it goes both ways. There are long-term storyline plans with Randy Orton, and I think those are a little bit more manageable because WWE and long-term on the main roster, they don't go in the same sentence. I don't even think they have anything planned for Randy Orton come Monday. Never mind fucking long-term. So I don't think that really is a situation that we have to really wrap our heads around. And I don't think he's talking about that. He's more so talking about NXT's style because they haven't shown it lately or as much as they used to, but they are ingrained in the long-term storytelling. And one person that I feel would fit into the Randy Orton and Edge storyline that obviously will continue when Edge comes back to TV is Tommaso Ciampa, being that he is a huge Edge head. And he used Edge as an influence and an inspiration to come back from a similar injury that Edge had suffered and kept him out for 9 years. Ciampa came back looking better than ever from that same injury. I think he could be slotted in that if they wanted to. Now, I don't think WWE is going to do that because, to be quite honest with you guys, they're not that creative. But what do you think about NXT and possibly Randy Orton with working on somebody or with somebody in NXT? Do you think a Tommaso Ciampa would slide into that? Or if you have somebody else off the top of your head, who do you see working with a Randy Orton?
There's quite a few people that they're working on right now in NXT that Orton can help push just past that cusp that they're approaching. I'm thinking of somebody at the top of my head right away. Bronson Reed, right away. Bronson Reed is a lovable baby face, and Orton can be a dick. So Orton and Reed. I'm seeing Orton and Swerve. But I get what Triple H is talking about. If they have plans for Orton and the WWE title, it's not gonna be a good look if he's mixing it up in NXT. So if they had long-term plans for Orton and they're coming up, not only that, you mentioned Ciampa, maybe they had long-term plans for Ciampa as it pertains to him and that beating he took from Kross. Maybe that doesn't end right there. Maybe they had a long-term story to tell.
Yeah, so. And I don't want to jump the gun here with you on that situation, but we'll talk about that as we talk about Kross and Keith Lee a little bit later. He was asked about Renee Young, being that the news broke, and he just had the conference call as of this afternoon. He did not want to talk about Renee Young. He said he will leave that up to her to address everybody, so he kind of deaded that situation right then and there. I guess he didn't want to really make it official, which was cool on him to do that. He did confirm, though, that SummerSlam plans on a boat were real and that they were very close to actually happening, which I thought would have been the best of the situations, but we are going with the Thunderdome option. He said that fans will find out why they decided on the Thunderdome rather than the other options that were presented for SummerSlam, including a beach and a boat. There were rumors going around that WWE was going to have SummerSlam in Atlantic City, New Jersey, somewhere outside. I thought that would have looked fantastic with the beach and the ocean in the background. I don't know if that was even possible, given WWE. Normally they are very swift and very persuasive on those types of things, but it didn't happen. We're getting the Thunderdome, but he wanted to address those rumors because they were out there for quite some time, and he did confirm them. He said NXT will stay at Full Sail University for the foreseeable future. Staying in Full Sail is where we will be, and we'll see where everything goes. That is their home. And I love how there was talk about moving NXT out of the Full Sail arena because of AEW and their large-scale operation, going to different venues and some shows having tens of thousands of people there, and then you switch to USA Network and see NXT in front of 500 people. I never thought moving NXT out of Full Sail University was a good idea because I do think that they put so much effort into making TakeOver feel special. I feel like if you did NXT in front of a large arena like that, it would take some away from TakeOver. So I'm glad to see that they're sticking with Full Sail. When asked if he focuses on the overall number of the ratings, the 18-49 demo, Triple H gave a very swift and simple answer. He says, no, I only focus on NXT. Which I love, which kind of goes back, Jesse. I've said it several times on the podcast. I said, if you put Triple H in a closed room, lock the door, and there's no fucking microphones, no camera, and you ask him face-to-face if he wants to go to battle over Wednesday night on NXT against AEW in this war that's going on in the community, he would probably say, no, I don't want to be going to war with them. I want to worry about what I got to do on NXT, and that's it. Everybody's making this out to be more than it really is. I just want to focus on NXT. And that was pretty much the vibe I got from that answer. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's only common sense. I mean, everything that Triple H built in NXT over the years was built along the premise of making the main roster better. So his whole platform, his whole layout is grooming talent to get them ready for WWE television. Not to get new wrestlers ready for the ring and how to wrestle. We all know that he picks up indie talent that are already wrestlers and stars. But everybody can agree, just being a wrestler doesn't mean you're ready for WWE television. So he has a roster of guys that he gets ready for TV. And then he gets told that, okay, now your roster has to be on television with certified, experienced wrestlers, and you need to draw bigger ratings. It's not what he signed up for.
No. That was a Vince McMahon move, no question.
No, the NXT was not a touring brand like Raw and SmackDown. They didn't travel as much. They didn't have as much exposure. They didn't have as much advertising. They didn't sell as much merchandise. So to put them on TV, and to be honest, with the numbers that they're getting, I think he's doing phenomenal. I mean, considering the situation he was put in, because it could have been much worse. But no, this is not what he wanted. This is not what his vision was for NXT. It never was.
Yeah, this is a Vince McMahon thing. No question, this is a Vince McMahon move, and I've always felt it in my soul that Triple H doesn't want any of this, and I would even go as far as to say Triple H probably wouldn't even want to be moving to 2 hours. He's going to give you the political answer, the WWE corporate answer is, oh yeah, this is our growth, this is the natural growth and the natural progression of NXT, but you've been watching NXT for as long as the brand has been a thing under the WWE banner. This is not the same NXT. Things are changing. Triple H is just the figurehead like he always has been, but he's being put in positions that, you know, some things he may be for, and most of the things I don't think he really is for at all. And I think this is one of them, and I've always said it, and I feel it still today, that Triple H doesn't want to be on Wednesday Night Live, USA Network. I don't even know how much money, we don't even know how much money NXT is making for the USA Network. It's probably pennies. So that's the way I feel, and I still feel that after this conference call when he said, I only focus on NXT. Everything else is not important to me. He mentioned NXT wrestlers appearing on Raw Underground. He said it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a part of the Raw roster. I don't know why this was a thing, because we see Arturo Rujas in Raw Underground, and we see Eric Bugenhagen on Raw Underground, and we see Babatunde on Raw Underground. It is what it is. WWE's throwing shit at the wall. Obviously, it's not sticking. It's a failure. Raw had the worst rating of all time on Monday, or at least the third hour anyway. But that doesn't mean they're on the Raw roster. I'd love to know who asked that question. They're just, like Raw, throwing shit at the wall and hoping Triple H answers it the way that they want. Triple H said it's also...
Your boy was on that call, man.
Say again?
Was that your boy's question? Your boy was on that call today.
I don't know. Who the fuck cares? I want to know why I'm not on the fucking call. I'd ask a good question, a hard-hitting question. They got these fucking geeks and these check marks on there. I don't know why. Triple H said earlier this week that WWE had not found anything and he reiterated the point during NXT TakeOver's conference call about Velveteen Dream. Now, he said this, and this is transcribed by Fightful, who Sean Ross Sapp was there. He says this, and I quote this, Triple H. "We take all of these things very seriously. Allegations of misconduct of any nature, we take very seriously. I'll stand by what I said with CBS. We looked into it. We didn't find anything there in the manner of what we were looking for, and we moved on. It doesn't change the fact that we take it seriously, and there's something there, or if there's something there, we'll look into it. That goes across the board for anybody." Triple H mentioned that earlier in the week, the reason that Velveteen Dream was off of TV for so long, Jesse, was because he was in a car accident. Dream's last match before returning had been at TakeOver in Your House when he lost a backlot brawl to Adam Cole. So this is very interesting. WWE says that they looked into it and they didn't find anything. Meanwhile, we got Josh Fuller, the guy who came out and accused Dream, saying that WWE absolutely had no contact with him whatsoever. And then back to Triple H, he stated that, and what is he going to say? I mean, this is obviously the answer he was going to give everybody. Everybody should have expected this. Well, the reason why Dream was off TV was because he was in a car accident. So what do you think about Triple H's answer as far as him protecting Patrick Clark?
The answer makes sense, but we all know that wasn't the case. When was the car accident? What was the date?
I don't know. I don't remember the date, but it was the same week. It was like literally a week after he got called out in the Speaking Out movement.
Because wasn't the car accident long after that Cole, the Adam Cole Dream match?
Oh, it was after that match because that match was taped. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was long after. So
yeah.
If that's the case, I would ask him then why wasn't he on TV between his last match and the car accident?
I don't know. What was his last match between then and the car accident?
His last match with Adam Cole, that parking lot fight, that was his last match on TV.
Yeah.
And then how much time passed between then and that car accident? Why wasn't he on TV?
It's August, July. The Speaking Out movement was in maybe the end of June, early July. Takeover was in June, right? Yeah, it was in the beginning of the month. Yeah,
something like that. I think there's a little bit of a gap in that one, but nonetheless, you can tell in his answer, not only his answer, but the way he's trying to swiftly avoid it, that something's not right. Because even he gave his answer, then he quickly said, "I already addressed it. Don't ask me shit else about Dream. Move on." And
yep.
And to somebody who may be listening to that and think, okay, well, he said he mentioned it before. The thing about that answer is Triple H has been nothing but 100% forthcoming in these conference calls. I've listened to everyone for years. So is JD. He is never one to dodge a question. No,
and if the question is ridiculous enough, he'll actually throw it back at whoever asks the question.
Yeah. Now, if you come there and ask something stupid and don't, just have some intelligence about it, then he'll call you out. Like, why would you ask me some shit like that? He's not gonna tell you who the winner is going to be. People have asked stuff that's stupid before, but if you come with an intelligent question, he won't dodge it. He'll answer it. Whether it makes them look good or not, he'll answer it. But this is the first question I've ever heard him ask on these conference calls where he kind of just backpedaled and got away from it and didn't want to talk about it, and it was a sore subject for him, which shouldn't be. Think about it like this. If the guy was investigated and vindicated, if I'm Triple H, if I'm Papa H, I'm on this conference call trying to sell my guy's innocence. Hey, we did our investigations, found nothing. He's clear. We think he's good to go. You guys should. No, he was kind of like, no. We did our investigation. Nothing happened. Drop it. Let's go. That sounds shady.
Yeah.
That sounds shady because otherwise he would be proud about how, hey, you guys thought he made a mistake, but we checked into it and our guy's clean. No, that's not how it came off at all.
Yeah, it's listen, I don't want to feed into the cancel culture bullshit on social media, but it's a situation where I love Patrick Clark as a performer. I think he's great. He hasn't missed a beat. He looked fantastic tonight against Finn Balor. But I got to be honest with everybody here, and Jesse feels the same way. It's something about him now that doesn't feel right. And I don't think it's ever going to escape him. And I think when live fans are back in Full Sail University, I don't really think it's going to end well for the Velveteen Dream. I don't really think WWE cares. They'll probably turn him heel, which they've already done, and they'll feed him to the fucking fans, and they'll just enhance his gimmick or alter his gimmick a little bit to fit the current climate of WWE TV and the Velveteen Dream's character and what's surrounding him. But he doesn't feel the same. He doesn't feel like the Velveteen Dream of old that came out with all those elaborate NXT TakeOver entrances and were giving us great matches against Johnny Gargano and Ricochet and Aleister Black and Adam Cole. It's just not the same. And Jesse, you told me something very interesting tonight, and I'll let you say it to everybody. If Velveteen Dream is off the hook for this so easily, what's stopping WWE from signing? And you named her tonight, so why don't you tell the chat?
Yeah, I mean, I had WWE pegged to pretty much let Dream fall away and disappear into oblivion until at least it's blew over or he was found innocent. But when they just popped him back up on TV and then thrust him in a takeover into a title match, clearly they give zero fucks about the controversy. So what does that mean? I'm thinking we should be looking forward to seeing Tessa Blanchard in WWE, because Dream's accusations were 10 times worse than Blanchard. So I don't know.
Before we move on here, Beast in the chat, if you don't stop trolling, I'm going to throw you the fuck out of here, okay? Yeah, I see your message. Jesse is the best mic in the business. JD, I thought you gave Jesse a new microphone. I see your fucking message, and now you got my fucking response. I don't know what's wrong with Jesse's mic. I got my fucking headset on. I hear him fine, and he sounds fine. So if he doesn't sound fine to you, go watch some other fucking shill in the community and go watch somebody do something that they can't do better than us, all right? Enough of the shit. There you go. Buried. Somebody in the chat. Hoot Media, where the fuck are you? There you go.
Fucking Hoot Media, man.
There you go. Fucking Hoot Media. I'm going to have to deduct pay from you this weekend, okay? Anyway, moving on. Velveteen Dream, yeah. And what do you think of the character transformation, Jesse? It's almost as if the Velveteen Dream character, the oozing charisma is not there. He looks like Grandpa Dream with that fucking beard. He came out looking like a member of the NWO tonight. Is this fitting the current vibe of the Velveteen Dream? He's dark. He's kind of mysterious now because of what's going on.
Well, think about the change, or immediately the change that we see. Dream won last week, all right? So, and then he won this week, and now he's going to Takeover this weekend. Now, Dream won twice. Dream's in for a title match coming up, but what have we not heard? We have not heard a single fucking promo from Dream, which is the best part of his gimmick. They don't want this guy on TV too much. They want to try to limit his exposure, but they don't want to cut his push. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's no way, before all of this happened, there's no way we see Dream win, go to a title match, and not cut a single promo, not a single cam promo, not a backstage promo, not even an in-ring promo. They want nothing to do with this guy except do the match and go. That's it. That's not Dream. He's not like a wrestler and go. That's 1/3 of his package. What about the rest of the Velveteen Dream? Where is it? We don't get it because they gotta get a leash on him. They gotta kind of half in, half out right now.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to support him on screen. I think he adds a lot to NXT. I just feel like nothing's connecting me with him that was connecting me with him previously before all of this. Shout out to Ticket Drew. He just texted me. I don't know he was watching me, so shout out to my buddy Ticket Drew. And I'm sorry, Hoot Media, please, okay?
Drew.
Hoot Media's texting me over here, so rude. Okay.
No, don't leave. Why were you mean?
I don't know, man. These trolls get to me, bro. I gotta bury him. I gotta bury him like fucking Vince is burying Ali on Monday night. Moving on here. We got more news as it pertains to the conference call. We got a draft. A WWE draft is happening, folks. Realistically, we haven't had a draft in 2 years because the last draft that we got in October last year, which was a complete fucking waste of time. It was an absolute waste of time. Monday Night Raw remained unchanged. It was literally the same roster leaving the draft as they had entering the draft. Nothing changed. Brock Lesnar got traded to Monday Night Raw. Bray Wyatt went to SmackDown. That really was the only change, honestly, that came out of that draft. But Triple H pretty much confirmed a draft this year, and they pushed the idea back a couple of times because of what's going on with the coronavirus. It is currently slated to take place in October. This could be interesting as they are now in the Thunderdome. The company has a lot of options on the table right now. A roster shuffle is absolutely needed right now. It's imperative. And during the conference call, he did confirm another draft. He said that NXT will be a part of the draft. And fans will also see a different mindset as far as what the draft is going to look like in the Thunderdome. He says this, and I quote, "That definitely has changed that mindset. There is different protocols and procedures. We'd like to move this talent. We'd like to do this. We'd like to do that. And you'll see that coming up in the draft later this year. You'll definitely have to think about it a lot more and think about these changes. But I think long-term, it's better for everybody." And I've said it, and I know you agree with me, Jesse. NXT absolutely needs to be a part of the draft. People need to be... Actually, let me rephrase this. People need to be demoted from NXT to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. And we need to have Raw and SmackDown talent move down to NXT. Ricochet, Ali, Cedric, guys like that, if you're not using them on the main roster the way that they should be used, they should be brought down to NXT. So there needs to be a shuffle of talent that you're not using that was once down there. They need to go back down there, whether it's a complete reset, back and forth. I love NXT being a part of the draft. If you included them in the Royal Rumble and you included them in the Survivor Series, they should be included absolutely in the draft. Same thing goes for 205 Live. You cannot keep those men in a bubble on 205 Live. If they're good enough to be on the main roster, then use them the way that they should. What do you think?
I didn't even know 205 Live was still a thing. That show is still on.
Apparently, I don't watch it. I mean, it is what it is. There's some geeks out there that still watch it religiously. I don't know. Maybe with the 4 people that are watching it.
All right. Oh, look. Maybe this might come off as controversial or stupid, but I don't know if. I mean, after thinking about it, I don't know if I want NXT in the draft. I mean, just for the simple fact that, hey, first off, the draft gets violated usually about 30 to 45 seconds after it started. I mean, so right away it's meaningless. But second of all, how can you become any kind of a breeding ground or any kind of a learning brand or a training brand if now you get mega stars on the TV every week? Now, I understand that they have, you know, the visitors and everything else, but I don't know. I think I would personally keep the draft to Raw and SmackDown, and it doesn't mean you can't have main roster talent on NXT, but at the same time, they're not permanent to NXT. Now, if you got guys like Ricochet and Cedric who needs to be in NXT, then just fucking put them in NXT. Just put them in NXT. Because if you put NXT in the draft, then how you gonna explain to me how 85% of the NXT roster just happened to all land back in NXT? Because if not, then that means you get the NXT roster all over the main roster, which might not flow. So you had a draft, but somehow Ciampa and Gargano and everybody else who are the core of NXT just happened to all stay.
Well, this is WWE's fault. This is their lack of being cool and creative and having fun. They got the world is their fucking oyster mentality here, and they don't take advantage of it. Last year at the Survivor Series with NXT involved. NXT, was involved there, and between Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, whoever came out of the Survivor Series winning that between those two brands should have gotten a future NXT draft pick for the years following draft. That's the way it should have been. And there should be trades, and they should make sense, and you should bring them to people's attention. I don't want to see fucking Apollo Crews as a SmackDown guy and then all of a sudden be brought over to Monday Night Raw with absolutely no explanation whatsoever. You didn't do anything to explain why AJ Styles was traded to SmackDown. You could have easily fixed that by saying, well, okay, we traded Apollo Crews for AJ Styles, or Apollo Crews and somebody else for AJ Styles, and that was it. But they don't do that. They don't make mention of it. They don't make mentions of trades. They don't have draft picks. They don't have the Royal Rumble do anything as far as the brand-to-brand, initiative, or the Survivor Series for the brand-to-brand initiative. They don't do anything.
My only issue with the trade thing is that whenever any trade happens, I really don't care who it's for, you'll have a good majority of the people say, oh, that trade wasn't fair.
Well, then make it fair.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care who the fuck it's for. I don't care if it's Roman Reigns for Seth Rollins. People are going to complain. That's not fair. You know, I mean, they're just, and not only that, you run the risk of devaluing people in a trade scenario. Like the last trade we got, where we got AJ Styles for, well, who was it? Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler and Apollo Crews. Or Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode.
Right. So now, for taking as face value, those guys for AJ Styles is ridiculous. But who's to say that those guys can't be superstars over on and SmackDown or anything like that? It's just a matter of how you push them. So if you're not going to use them the right way and push them the right way, yeah, it sounds stupid. The trade sounds stupid. But who's to say they don't make that trade and these guys form a faction over there and then it becomes a legit move that makes sense? But you don't want the focus of that trade, you know, who was for what and everything else, that being an issue. Okay, well, let's see who did what on my roster. You just want to move the fucking guys around. This would be a good way to use something that we don't get to see anymore, and that's loser leaves town matches. Fuck trade. You know, these two have been beefing so much they can't get along on the same roster. Loser leaves town. Loser gets the F off this brand and goes to NXT, goes to SmackDown or Raw. They just get off the brand until they come up with another reason for them to be moved. That way, there's a reason for them to be moved, and it didn't have to involve devaluing some other wrestlers.
Yeah, I think someone in the chat actually said that AJ went to SmackDown because he wanted to win the IC title since he's never won it. So what? Who the fuck was he traded for? Can't just show up on SmackDown being that I seen you on Monday Night Raw, you know, 8 months out of the fucking year, and then you want to show up 1 month because, SmackDown's holding an IC title tournament. Doesn't work that way. Logic. I'm a grown man. I want to know why things are happening and what's happening on my show. Not fucking 3 years old anymore watching Hogan, you know?
Yeah. If you want to hold a draft and hold everyone, you know, to the credibility of said draft, you got to come up with logical ways to move people around. I mean, trading would be a logical way to move people around, but I think the long-term effects of trading wrestlers will start devaluing some and everything else. But yeah, you can come up with ways to move people. Loser leaves town. Someone was fired. You know, I mean, if you get kayfabe fired, everybody knows you're not leaving WWE. So you get in big trouble when you get fired, and then who knows what brand you're gonna show up on? Give them 2-3 weeks off, and then a main title match, and then boom, they pop up on this brand. I'm signed here. You know, let them stay off for a couple of weeks. Build the anticipation. We know they're gone. We know they're showing up somewhere. Where? It could be anywhere. They got fired. They got let go. You know, Stephanie fired whoever, or whatever the fuck. But it would make more sense. It would come off as a little bit more exciting, because now when you have a loser leaves town match, you honestly don't know who's going to lose, because anybody can show up with any brand.
Yeah.
So it gives us some kind of credibility.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not giving them any benefit of the doubt. The last couple of drafts were terrible. And I loved SmackDown in 2016. I think that was some of the best SmackDown in the history of SmackDown, that 2016 era SmackDown. But the last draft was absolutely ridiculous. It was such a colossal failure. It was a waste of time. They just insulted everybody's intelligence. So if Triple H says it's going to be different, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But knowing WWE, the plans have already changed as soon as he started uttering the fucking words out of his mouth. So I'm not really going to hold my breath as far as the WWE draft this year. We will wait and see come October, because that'll be the 1-year anniversary of SmackDown on Fox. Now, Jesse, there is a story here, and I've discussed why I feel like NXT is not the same. Nobody's going to tell me otherwise. I feel like there are a lot of people in the community trying to do the podcast thing that are merely watching NXT now, after I know for a fact that they weren't watching NXT for several years because it fit a niche audience and it wasn't main roster enough. Now all these people are watching NXT because of AEW, simply because of AEW. Nobody's going to tell me that NXT is the same as it was 2-3 years ago when Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were leading the charge over on NXT, and we were seeing some of the best stories that this company has ever given us. It's not the same, and we might have a reason for that. Lead NXT writer Joe Belcastro has resigned from his position. There's no information on why or who his replacement is, but there was a story a week and a half ago that WWE in NXT hired 3 new writers for NXT. We don't know who's taking the lead writer position. WWE was putting more of a focus on the NXT writing team. They moved some people over to NXT to try and freshen up these stories. AEW Dynamite has consistently been beating NXT, and it's been noticed by the company. This is why the company brought over additional hands to the writing team. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a good idea, because if you're taking somebody out, if somebody's quitting, and not only that, if somebody's quitting and you're bringing in people who don't know much about the brand or the characters or the vision of the show, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to make NXT better. In fact, it might make NXT a little bit more chaotic. Not as chaotic as Raw and SmackDown, but it's not going to feel the same. Can you please tell everybody, after I ranted a couple weeks ago as to why NXT is not the same, can you please tell everybody why NXT does not feel the same and is not the same from 2 or 3 years ago?
It's not the same. If you watched NXT about 3-4 years ago, just at its core, it doesn't feel the same. First and foremost, the storylines in NXT had one word to describe everything about them. It was simplistic. Every last storyline was simple. Keep it simple. It made sense. And then the wrestling blow-off match that involved said simple storyline was always a phenomenal match. We don't get that anymore. The biggest example of that is Robert Stone being drunken on TV. Look, man, I'm not trying to play like high and mighty as it comes to wrestling. I get wrestling gimmick storylines. I get all of that, but that's just not NXT. That's not NXT's value. If you're running a brand to help build new superstars, what's the point in having a drunk character trying to come in? What's the purpose of it? What is the purpose of it? Especially now, since they're trying to now push them as a legitimate brand. So, and look, there's nothing wrong with Robert Stone and what he's doing. They're actually doing fairly decent from what I like. They're coming along just fine. But that's not what they're normally doing. And you can tell in some of the stuff, some of the programs, some of the storylines they're doing, you can tell it's almost like a ratings grab. You can almost see the ratings war in the storyline, which was something that was never there before.
Of course, Adam Cole and Keith Lee was all a ratings thing. That wasn't long-term planning. They'll say it's long-term planning, but that shit was put together with fucking scotch tape and Elmer's glue. That wasn't anything planned by NXT.
There was long-term planning. You can tell if you remember when Gargano and Ciampa had their match, a singles match in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yep.
And you can tell about how explosive that match was and how fantastic it was. You can tell right away at that moment Triple H started building the long-term storytelling with those two guys right there. So from then all the way up until the end of that rivalry, he had a plan. And then it got fucked up, and Vince yanked those two and threw them on the main roster as a tag team couple. It does not feel organic. It does not feel it really does feel like the main roster is kind of just invading NXT, especially since the ratings of NXT Vince has a heavy investment in. They're on TV, they're on the USA Network, so ratings matter. So even the fucking situation with what's his name, McAfee. WWE is a prime example of let's bring in fucking Z-list celebrity here and put him on Monday Night Raw to generate interest. NXT doesn't need that. NXT never did anything like that. We'll talk about Pat McAfee in just a little bit. He's not a fucking celebrity, no matter what anybody wants to say. He was a fucking punter. I don't give a shit what he did or how many fucking All-Star games he was a part of. He may be great on the microphone, but that doesn't mean and an NFL player, but that doesn't mean he's a celebrity. They didn't have to go that route. Yeah, if you think about it, that's never been done before. Have they ever brought in a non-wrestling talent to NXT?
No.
Never.
And they don't need it, because it's not that it's not the vision of the brand. That's Vince's vision, and that vision is infiltrating NXT. No matter what people say, Vince is not someone that has a hand in NXT. Absolutely. This is a Vince initiative.
It does. NXT has always been considered the wrestling brand. If you're on NXT and you make a takeover show, that means you made it. That means that you can go in the ring. They got faith in you to go for a 20-minute match. I don't know. I mean, this is not NXT. Look, I'm not saying that it's crappy. I'm not saying that it won't work. I'm saying this is not the NXT we were used to. And this is going to take some readjusting, and not everybody's going to like it.
Well, we'll see what happens. Listen, we'll see what happens with that. It doesn't feel the same to me. It's not the same. I don't even want to converse with anybody that's going to tell me it's the same. It's not. It's not. It's absolutely not. And there's one more story here before we get into the show briefly. We're not going to spend too much time on the show because the show wasn't all that good anyway. Brian Alvarez says Vince McMahon is not involved in the decision regarding NXT Creative, which I think is complete bullshit. Vince is absolutely, he may not have a full hand in the creative aspect, but he definitely has gotten the ear of Triple H or Shawn Michaels or Road Dogg or fucking Matt Bloom or William Regal or somebody down there. He's got the ear of somebody down there, no question, because if he didn't, we wouldn't see, like Jesse said, Robert Stone vomiting on TV. That's a Vince McMahon thing. Vince loves that type of shit. So that is Vince McMahon definitely to the core. Brian Alvarez says this on one of the earlier editions of last week's Observer Live. He said somewhat surprisingly that Vince has not been involved in the decisions to counter-program AEW with special NXT shows, which I do not believe whatsoever. He says this, and I quote, "I know nobody will believe this." He even said it himself. Well, Vince has nothing to do with this. There is a million changes from when they went to USA that don't involve Vince. I mean, yes, Vince wanted them on USA and he wanted them to be live. Okay, because obviously they're going to make more money by going live. But they went from taping 5 shows where everything is just consistent to every single solitary week you hear that AEW's got a big show coming up. You got to change this. You got to rush this. That's the problem. End quote. So it's all important to note that AEW is also counter-programming against NXT. Obviously, with Saturday Night Dynamite going up against Takeover and bleeding into Takeover, which I don't really think that is something Tony Khan had in the back of his mind. But like Jesse said earlier, they might not have had a choice on when Dynamite aired, and that was the only time slot that they had. So I'm not really taking that as important or newsworthy in that situation. Jesse, do you believe Alvarez when he says this? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, if I'm gonna take that with any validity to it, then I'd say that maybe Vince isn't saying, "Okay, I'm writing this week's NXT. Sit back." No, is he doing that? Maybe not. Maybe he is saying, "Look, you're going up against AEW's blah, 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 blah this week. We need you to produce some fucking ratings. I don't care how you do it, but I need to see some fucking results. I suggest you start doing." I mean, and the thing is, it could be a situation just like, who was his name? Bruce, where he starts writing the show for Vince. You know, look, if we fail in the ratings, let's see, if Triple H fails in the ratings in a certain week and does nothing that Vince likes, then he's going to have Vince all in his backyard. But maybe if he writes the show the way Vince wants, and even if it fails in the ratings, he'll see, well, he did the show the right way. It must be COVID or something else in his, demented mind. But maybe he is sprinkling this shit in here to keep Vince happy, to keep him out. But which would still in turn be Vince's fault for the shit actually happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
But, yeah, that's the gist of it, people. That's the news that I got on NXT. I think we can all sit here and honestly, collectively say that NXT doesn't feel the same. I don't know if it's a mixture of everything we just talked about. I'm even watching the show tonight. I'm watching it from Full Sail, and I'm watching the WWE PC shows. Everything just looks the same, And yes, some of it has to be blamed on the COVID era. And I can't wait for things to go back to normal because the show definitely had a different look and a feel. And now that you got everything looking the same because of the situation that we're currently dealing with, it honestly is affecting NXT just as badly as Monday Night Raw and SmackDown because NXT looked different and now they're forced to look the same because WWE has to look the same because they have nowhere else to operate out of. Now, hopefully we get that NXT vibe by them going into the Amway Center. Maybe NXT can kind of finally stand on its own 2 feet and look like NXT of old. I don't know. I might be reaching with that one, but that's just something I was thinking about while watching the show tonight. So we'll see. Things may change come Friday, going on into next week as WWE enters the Thunderdome, which I'm very curious to see how they operate. Now, guys, we are going to talk about the show. There's just about 900 people in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It helps out the video. If you guys are listening on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play and Podbean and all that stuff, especially iTunes, leave me a 5-star rating. Thank you guys so very much for that. And we will go over the Super Chats at the end of the show, so keep them coming in. If you guys want to ask me and Jesse anything, the Super Chats are open. We start the show off with a quick match here. Johnny Gargano, no intro or anything. They went right into a quick match. Johnny Gargano with Candice LeRae against Ridge Holland, and this is to qualify for the NXT North American Championship ladder match at Saturday's TakeOver. I think time kind of stood still, Jesse, while watching this. After the obvious botch of Ridge Holland, I think everybody kind of said, fuck the match. Let's see what happens here with Johnny Gargano, because he looked like he was about to be paralyzed legitimately. It was a very scary situation with Johnny Gargano. I genuinely don't know how he finished the match. I read the report last week. The spoilers came out, or at least that news article came out, that Johnny Gargano had suffered a serious injury in this match. They stopped the match. I thought NXT was going to remove this part because the report said that he finished the match, and some reports actually said that they restarted the match and Gargano was good to go even after the botch, and they just did it over. They left the entire fucking thing in there. Everybody is so high on Ridge Holland for one reason or another, and a lot of people in the community, a lot of podcasters alike, are saying that Ridge Holland looks very similar to a very young Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a one-of-a-kind. I'm not comparing anybody to a Brock Lesnar. You got a long way to go if you want me to start thinking this guy's the next Brock Lesnar. But Jesus Christ, this guy in a triple threat match looked impressive because there wasn't much for him to do. He could just shoulder tackle somebody. He was in there, I believe, against Damian Priest. And one other guy, I forgot. He can do that against a guy that size. But when you're in there with somebody as great as Johnny Gargano, my goodness, bro, this guy was as green as fucking grass in this match. I don't know why they opted to go with this match. And in my honest opinion, this was pretty one-sided as far as the decision goes. Johnny Takeover. It's in his name. He ain't missing a fucking takeover. Where are you?
I'm here.
There you go.
I didn't see the spot. All right.
You didn't see the spot.
But as you were talking just now, I just saw the spot.
Okay.
And man, he botched that one. It appeared to be a float over power slam.
Yep. And
he just didn't turn him all the way and then dropped him right on his head. It looked like he pretty much landed with the same velocity as with Owen dropping Steve on his neck.
Yeah, that's exactly the vibe I got from this. You could easily tell Candice was very concerned about what had happened. And Ridge Holland, I don't know if he knew what had happened or how hurt Johnny Gargano was, but he still wanted to kind of continue the match. He was kind of aggressively approaching Johnny Gargano. Candice was like, give the guy a fucking second, please. Dropped him right on his head. And it was a obvious botch, tilt-a-whirl, power slam. I don't know what the hell he was going for. He spiked Gargano right on top of his head. Ref quickly went to go check on him. Gargano, out of nowhere, took a couple of seconds to get his composure, super kicked Ridge Holland out of nowhere. It looked to be a real injury. He played it off really good. That's how great of a professional Johnny Gargano is. Super kicked Holland, went for a quick cover. Holland continued his offense with Gargano attempting to gain the upper hand here. Gargano went for a Gargano escape. Holland wouldn't go down. He followed it up with another super kick, a couple of clotheslines, and then went for a crossbody. So he was operating as if he was never dropped on his head. Unbelievable. However, he was met by Holland here, who checked him out of the ring, and the action was on the outside, then back in the ring. LeRae grabbed onto Holland's leg, allowing the referee to be distracted long enough not to see it. And that was a low blow from Johnny Gargano. He followed it up with his DDT. One final beat, and he wins the match. Like I said before, Jesse, it's in his name, Johnny Takeover. I can't imagine Triple H not putting Johnny Gargano on, or keeping him off, rather, a Takeover card.
It's happened before. Not a lot, but it's happened before. But yeah, I couldn't see him. Not right now. And he needs Gargano. And my God, yeah, the more I see this, man, this was just really bad. I mean, Gargano gave him a good lead into that power slam, and the guy just didn't turn him. He just didn't turn him, man, and he landed him square on his head, and he bent his neck over. But it also looked like that Gargano was giving it a little bit of an extra sell. Since they didn't stop it, well, I mean, they stopped it, but they kept going. But it looks like he gave us some extra sell because it looked horrible. So the extra sell job made the move look even worse than what it was. But nonetheless, yeah, he could have broke his neck right there, man. That was pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, clearly it wasn't supposed to end that way or
No.
end up that way. But Gargano, I mean, even Morrow said this guy's DNA is not of a human being. So he wins the match. Hopefully there's no long-term effects from this. He will be in Takeover's ladder match for the North American Championship. I don't think he's going to win. He is simply there to give that match star power and work with all the young kids in that. Well, Damian Priest is not young, but you guys get what I'm saying. Gargano wins. He's in the ladder match. Should be interesting to have his veteran presence in that match. We go from that to a women's match here. Dakota Kai, who's been one of the best things in the women's division on NXT, against Jessi Kamea. This is another one who's green as grass. We haven't really seen a lot of her, but I don't know exactly why I should care about who she is. I don't know much about her. I don't know her background. She looked very generic. Clearly, she's still a project in the Performance Center. And Dakota Kai gets an easy win. She was there to simply just put over Dakota, get Dakota a dominant victory. Dakota wins in 3 minutes here. We got the big boot in the corner, that big haluva-like kick from Dakota Kai. And then Kai regained an upper hand after Kamea tried to make some small comeback and delivered the GTK for the win, and that was pretty much it. After the match, Kai grabbed the microphone and called out Io Shirai. She said Shirai must be out of her mind for saying what she said about Kai. She said she's not afraid of Io Shirai and that Shirai is focused on Kai's past, while Kai is focused on the future, which is the NXT Women's Championship. She said it's going to feel great kicking Shirai in the face over and over and over again, and that's when Io Shirai came out. Her music hit. She ran down the aisle. Shirai rushed at Kai, taking her down in the ring, ground and pound. The brawl spilled outside of the ring, and they actually started brawling up to the left side of the stage in Full Sail University. And then Jessi, out of nowhere, I asked, where is Raquel Gonzalez? And poof, she magically appears. Raquel Gonzalez emerges from the backstage area through a black curtain and delivers a devastating big boot to Shirai. She hits the concrete. Raquel drags Shirai to the ring and mocked Io Shirai before delivering a power bomb, and Kai walked over and pretty much was standing on top of Io Shirai with the Women's Championship. So, very effective segment. I just don't know if WWE is actually going to go all the way with Dakota Kai. They should. She's in this match. They definitely should, but I don't think anybody watching this is expecting Io Shirai to lose that championship. That would be a terrible booking decision. So my question to you is, do you see Io Shirai winning like I do? And if Dakota Kai is just there to kind of enhance Io Shirai's title reign, what's next for her? And does she make a jump to the main roster?
Yeah, it looks like this match was put together to just kind of give Io a match at the Takeover. But at the same time, it wasn't like they just threw somebody in. They've been building Dakota Kai roughly for a couple of months now. So with that being said, I don't see Dakota losing clean. Just because they would just kind of just throw away everything they did put into Dakota and everything else. But I do see Tegan Knox coming in and interfering and possibly costing Dakota the title, and then they can bring those two back together full circle to get back into another feud. That's just my take on it. She could just wind up losing clean. But I saw somebody in the chat earlier saying if Dakota didn't win, they were going to riot. You better get ready to riot, man, because Io is not losing that title right now.
Yeah, it's amazing to me how they have Candice LeRae. It's like, at one point, I felt like with the gimmick change, she was going to be the top female heel in the brand. Io turned babyface, and they still have not put Candice LeRae in that spot. And in my honest opinion, she deserves an opportunity to be in that spot because she's just so damn good. And now with Dakota Kai, you know, she could win. I don't think she will. I don't think, you know, WWE will go to that extent. But if WWE wants to have Dakota Kai win, There's a story there between her and Tegan for the for the women's championship. There's a story there between Dakota Kai and Rhea Ripley, if they want to put Ripley back in the title picture because of what happened at War Games last year. So there's a couple of moving parts there that WWE could definitely do and use with Dakota Kai as champion. But Io is just so good, I can't see her having one title defense, and that is it. So I don't think she's losing. Even with Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox in this thing, you know, Tegan, like you said, can come in and interfere and cost Dakota Kai. I don't know what happens to Dakota. Maybe she makes the jump to the main roster. But even then Tegan can fuck over Dakota, and then you leave Tegan and Candice LeRae to feud over the number one contendership. Then that goes to Candice, and Candice can maybe go one-on-one with Io, take the title from Io eventually at the end of the year. Maybe you have Tegan and Candice LeRae fight over the championship. There's a lot of moving parts that WWE can make sense with, but at the end of the day, we're always going to circle back to Io Shirai. Everybody loves her. They want to keep her happy after rumors of her possibly going back to Japan with Kairi Sane. So I just don't see them taking the championship off of her for a very long time.
No. She's got to build up some wins. And so does her big opponent and probably her eventual defeat. But Io and Candice is the money match.
Yeah,
that's the money match they're building to. I don't know if it's Survivor Series weekend. I don't know if it's Rumble weekend or what. But they're keeping Io and Candice apart for a reason, because that's the money feud.
Absolutely, and I believe it was last year, if I'm not mistaken, where Io Shirai and Candice LeRae had a takeover match, which was just a standard women's match in Brooklyn. The last time they were in Brooklyn, I believe it was in Canada. I don't know, but it was Io Shirai and Candice LeRae at Takeover, the best women's match of the entire year, and it wasn't even for a title. It was just a great 20-minute wrestling match where if you put the championship on the line, that would have been one of the best women's championship matches the company ever had.
Yeah, I can see them. I can see Hunter holding them off, trying to bring them full circle, trying to get as much out of these two as they can on a separate basis, because now you can put Io with Dakota Kai, and now you can maybe spin Dakota Kai with Tegan Nox, which actually does not need a title. They get their own personal history, so you keep on building up to Candice and Io, and yeah, I mean that's going to be the match. Io doesn't lose that title to anybody but Candice LeRae, man. That's Candice's title to take.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody in the chat agrees. I agree. That's the money match. No matter when it happens, save it. That's what I think is the best situation there for the Women's Championship. El Legado del Fantasma. This is Santos Escobar, who's the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. I think all three guys are fucking fantastic. Breezango, Tyler Breeze, Fandango, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. He in his own right, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Jesse, I think all these guys are great, but I just don't know why I should care about these guys, this match. You know, obviously they moved on from Drake Maverick. It's just a situation that I watch, and I don't necessarily enjoy, but I appreciate everybody and their talent. It's just, I don't care. What do you feel about this? What do you feel about El Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Breezango? I feel like they could be doing so much more, and I feel like it's just a situation where I want to care, but it's very difficult for me to care.
Yeah, I think Breezango's dead in the water, man. I mean, they had no direction in the main roster, and they have no direction here. They just here to get other tag teams over. So they're just neutral at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Escobar, I think they could have done something so much more with him. Especially seeing this retribution thing that they have going on, since Escobar is pretty keen on kidnapping wrestlers and vans and everything else. You know, he could have been a prime candidate to possibly be part of a faction. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have had him do this lame shit they've been doing, but Escobar came out on this tirade about hating how luchadors presented themselves, you know, in 2020. So since he is the cruiserweight champion, he should not be bound to NXT. This guy should be going from NXT to the main roster, to Raw, to SmackDown, to defend the cruiserweight title, and to B, cause this kind of chaos now amongst the cruiserweight and the luchador division on the main roster.
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that I feel WWE has a lot of money in, and they're not utilizing these guys to the best of their ability. I love the fact that the Cruiserweight Championship is on NXT because it means more on NXT than it ever did on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. But the thing is, when you got a guy like Santos Escobar who has won the Cruiserweight Championship, and the vision behind that and his mission as far as the leader of Legado del Fantasma to rewrite the luchador or the vision of the luchador in his own image. I mean, these guys could show up on SmackDown and you could have Santos Escobar versus a Kalisto, or Santos Escobar versus a Gran Metalik, or Lince Dorado, or anybody. You could put him in there against Humberto Carrillo. You know, this is something that WWE is just leaving out there with no vision. They're leaving money on the table with this group. I mean, even Rey Mysterio. Imagine these guys showing up on Monday Night Raw and fucking picking a fight with Rey Mysterio and Dominic after they're done with Seth Rollins. I mean, I mean, the potential for this is just unbelievable. And you're not giving me a reason to care when you got Drake Maverick in there. You're not giving me a reason to care about Isaiah Swerve Scott. I love Swerve. He's one of the most talented guys in the entire fucking company. But it's very difficult for me to sit here and say, oh, man, I can't wait for Swerve to be on TV when I know his counterpart in Ricochet. I mean, it's fucking mini Ricochet on NXT. He's the new version of the NXT version of Ricochet. You can't tell me that I should be excited about Swerve Scott when I see what happened to Ricochet on the main roster. What is the fate that awaits this guy? You know, you're not telling me a story I care about. The story is in the mission behind Legado del Fantasma, and you're not doing anything with it. That's the fucking mission right there. That's the vision.
It should be. And this goes along with, to everybody watch, this is how you make new stars. To everybody looking like, who is this Escobar guy to be invading the main roster? It's how you make new stars.
Yeah.
So Escobar goes onto the main roster. He starts just running through everyone in the Cruiserweight division, and he just becomes that dominant as Cruiserweight champion. Then he loses. He loses the Cruiserweight title to someone that he helped build up in his warpath. And then I get him out of the Cruiserweight division. Now I want him to focus on the Intercontinental title. Now I'm looking at Escobar versus AJ Styles down the road.
Yep.
I mean, it's how you build someone up. And not only that, he left that division in a better spot because now someone beat a dominant champion.
Yep.
It's how you build stars.
And he doesn't, I mean, he looks like a guy that could be a quintessential WWE Intercontinental champion. You don't want to pigeonhole him into a cruiserweight bubble and give people that perception for too long. It's great that he holds the championship now, but I mean, the cruiserweight division, listen, like you said before, I don't even watch 205 Live. I don't even know who the fuck's on the brand or if it's even a brand right now. Who else after Swerve is there in NXT that could be labeled a cruiserweight that would go up against Phantasma or Escobar and do something worthwhile for the Cruiserweight Championship? There really is nobody else. So I honestly think it's in WWE's best interest to own up to the fact that, you know, the main roster failed the Cruiserweight Championship in its initial run because nobody gave a fuck up there. And now NXT needed to resuscitate it. It's at that point where it's resuscitated. It's back to where it should be. This title should be a multi-branded championship because you got guys like that are all over these fucking shows. Ricochet versus Santos Escobar, Cedric Alexander versus Santos Escobar. You could even do fucking Finn Balor versus Santos Escobar. Anybody fits that weight.
Angel Garza.
Angel Garza.
Oh my God. Man.
I mean, he came from the fucking cruiserweight division. I mean, yeah, look, two more Mexican dudes right there that would have barn burners with Santos Escobar. They're fucking up, man. They got no vision. We got the vision here. They got no vision. This should be a multi-branded championship. Absolutely. Breezango, what's going on with them? People are saying in the chat they're going to win the tag team championships. Why are they going to win the tag team championships? Because there are no tag teams in NXT. There's no babyface tag teams that we could believe in NXT. That's the reason.
Tag team champions right now.
Imperium.
Oh, that's okay. That's right.
Yeah.
I fucking forgot.
Yeah. They're heels, and they have no other babyface tag teams to feud with. So Breezango are the only ones.
And they're awesome. I love Imperium, but yeah. But these guys, Imperium, they're wrestlers. They remind me of
Mustafa Ali versus Santos Escobar. Another one. Shine Phoenix in the chat. Bro, I mean.
Oh, man.
Yo, H, listen, brother. H, boss, listen to me. Bro, I'm a fucking NXT master over here. Somebody from NXT's got to be watching.
Man.
This is gold. Take it. I work for free.
And didn't almost, Andrade used to wear a mask.
Yes.
Maybe put him in the crew. Maybe him and Escobar go together. I don't know. Something. They have something in common at least, though.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just, it's a waste. It's a complete waste, man.
Listen, Breezango, they're in the tag team title hunt. They got a match against Lorcan and Birch and against, who else is the other tag team? Phantasma and his boys there. They're going to be in a triple threat match, Takeover pre-show. I'm assuming that it will be Breezango winning that match and getting the one-up on Legado del Fantasma and then being the babyface team to challenge Imperium. But regardless of that, we got the match taking place here, and Breeze rolled into the ring, ran wild on the heels here. He was going back and forth, punches and kicks. He had Escobar, cut him off, executed a phantom driver to cover Breeze for the pinfall, and that was pretty much it. So he got the one-up on Tyler Breeze after a small babyface comeback there. But the story here is with Santos Escobar and Swerve. Swerve planted Escobar with a modified Michinoku driver. Swerve went to cover him. The ref wouldn't count. So that's their in right there. He was not the legal man. He felt like he had the win over Escobar, but the referee said, nope, Tyler Breeze is the legal man. And then Tyler Breeze ended up losing the match for the baby faces, and that was it. So we move on from that to Adam Cole and Pat McAfee on the show. This was probably...
Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. So I don't know if I'm going to be on for the previews and predictions or what, but I want to say this right now. I think sleeper for that tag team match, Lorcan and Birch.
Yeah, I could see that.
Lorcan and Birch. I might have my personal...
As far as styles go, for sure. That's exactly who should win that match.
But it might be just my own personal hope, but for me, Lorcan and Birch were a part of one of, if not probably my favorite tag team match over the last 10 years, personally, is with them in Undisputed Era at TakeOver Chicago.
Yeah, that match was fucking fantastic. Nobody expected anything out of that match. That was the one thing on that show. I remember tweeting about that. I'm like, fucking tag team wrestling, bitch. There you go, right there.
That was it. For that match alone, Lorcan and Birch deserve some title match. They deserve a run, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Lorcan is just so good. If you put him in that spot, he's going to fucking deliver. Birch is always quality as well. I agree with you there. I think that would be a great match. I don't see them taking the championships, but I think it would make a better match than Breezango and Legado del Fantasma. Jesse, we got Pat McAfee coming out with his cohorts. Can you please explain to everybody who they are and why we should care?
I don't know who the other ones are, but I saw AJ Hawk there, man. Fucking awesome linebacker. Now, why he's hanging out with this guy, I don't know.
I guess Pat McAfee is a cool motherfucker. I guess I don't know. Maybe he knows everybody. But the
AJ Hawk is a fucking killer. AJ Hawk is a murderer.
Well, there you go. Undisputed Era made their way to the ring to confront Pat McAfee and his camp. They called for McAfee to come to the ring, but they entered from behind the announce desk. So they kind of invaded the show, even though they were invited guests of NXT. A ringside worker handed Mike and McAfee, I keep calling him McAfee, Pat McAfee, the fucking punter, a mic, and he greeted the Undisputed Era. He acknowledged that the three men he brought with him as backup, making fun of him. Listen, you're coming here with your boys. This is exactly what I stated. You won the NXT Championship and had the longest reign as NXT Champion because of these guys right here, and here you are again proving my point. So he acknowledged that. So McAfee went to recall the events of 2 weeks ago when he punted Cole in the head. He dressed Cole down, telling him that he only took one swing of his foot to knock him out. And this is the longest reigning NXT champion that knocked out with one kick to the head. Then he made Cole look like an amateur. He cut him down, and he cut every other member of the Undisputed Era down. The fans at home, he called the internet community a bunch of marks. He said that on Saturday, Cole will be left unconscious after throwing a temper tantrum during their match. McAfee then said that Cole would need to explain to the entire wrestling world how he lost to an outsider. McAfee said that he is an elite athlete, and at the end of the day, all that anyone will hear is boom, and he pointed to himself like Cole does during his entrance while throwing the mic at Adam Cole. The best line in this thing was that he said he made $1 million doing 7 different professions, and at TakeOver, he will add an 8th to that when he beats Adam Cole. Now, Adam Cole obviously got in McAfee's face. Cole approached McAfee, and he said, at Saturday's TakeOver, I'm going to make you my bitch, before turning and walking out of the ring with the rest of the Undisputed Era. And that was pretty much it. It was swift, it was quick, it was to the point. But the point I want to make here is I fucking hate everything about this and what it means to NXT, because we just got done before saying that NXT is not the same. This is an example of why NXT is not the same. But I am no idiot, okay? And neither is Jesse. This was a great fucking promo by Pat McAfee. If there's anything that this guy does, he can be a fucking manager for somebody. He's got the mic skills. Jesse even said he's got better mic skills than fucking 75% of the NXT roster, which is a shame. This is why it's getting preferential treatment. But I feel like this is taking spotlight away from the rest of the card. WWE's putting so much effort and so many resources into building this up. It's not even a championship match. I feel like, and I hope that this is the case, this feels bigger than the NXT Championship, and I hope that this means that this is just chapter 1 between Kross and Keith Lee, because they need the spotlight on them. That NXT Championship should be the most important thing on Saturday's show, and it is not. This is. But I got to give credit where credit is due. Pat McAfee had a great promo. I still stand behind what I say. This is definitely not the NXT that I fell in love with. But Jesse, what do you think?
No, this match definitely feels more important than the NXT title. I don't know if I want to put too much of that on blame on creative or Lee and Kross, because this is just Adam Cole and Pat McAfee selling the hell out of this match. We all know Adam Cole can sell anything. He can sell any match. He can sell any feud. But the thing about it, he's not doing this alone. I mean, as a matter of fact, Pat McAfee is outselling Adam Cole in this match right now. I mean, between his show and his own show over there and everything else, and how it came over here, and how he just came over here in NXT and commanded a microphone. You know, anybody who wants to sit around and talk shit about McAfee can do it all they want, because I understand it and I get it, because he is an outsider coming in, and we don't know how he's going to do in the ring. We'll find that out this weekend. But for the time being, he does not feel out of place in this feud. And he should be out of place. He's going against the best in the brand.
Yeah.
But right now, it just feels like he's holding his own. It feels like it feels like it's going to be a fight. It feels like it's going to be a legit fight. I mean, which it should be a no DQ match. Is it a straight wrestling match?
I'm very curious to see how they produce this match, because they cannot expect anybody going into the show to think that Pat McAfee is going to have a standard one-on-one wrestling match with Adam Cole. This needs to be a fucking fight. There's no fucking holds and collar and elbow tie-ups here. There's no wrist locks. This is a fucking fight. I want to see Adam Cole fight. You got called a fucking vanilla midget live on fucking television. Take your anger out on this guy. That's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah, you're on a podcast, and this guy that's hosting the podcast is telling you in the world that you're nothing, the crew around you is better, and you're a piece of crap. And then they're going to get into a match, and they're going to do a headlock. I mean, no, it needs to be a fight. They need to approach this match the same way they are with Dominic and Seth.
Yeah. And what did you think of Adam Cole standing there when Pat McAfee, was just standing there in the corner, and he kind of backed himself into the corner because, Adam Cole was being very forceful, and he told Pat McAfee what exactly he was going to do to him at TakeOver. Adam Cole standing there and I don't know if I'm the only one that thought this, but he was emanating babyface vibes there. And I think you told me, one of the possibilities of the ending of this match is because Undisputed, and a lot of people kind of overlook this, the Undisputed Era lost that tag team title match against Imperium because of Adam Cole and his selfishness. Do they turn on Adam Cole, making Adam Cole into a babyface at the end of TakeOver?
Hell no.
No.
Crazy? No, but he's definitely working babyface for this feud. McAfee is... Cole is being pretty much himself a little bit. I mean, heel Adam Cole would have went straight in and tried to attack McAfee right away, but he's holding back. He's showing restraint, and he's walking away. And Pat McAfee is clearly holding up a sign that says, "I'm the heel in this feud." So they've made that abundantly clear. I don't necessarily want to call it a babyface turn, but he's definitely working babyface in this match. Adam Cole is.
Yeah, I definitely see that happening because I know there were some people in the NXT crowd there at Full Sail yelling, "You suck" at Pat McAfee. So they're obviously treating this like he's the outsider and Adam Cole is the NXT talent sticking up for the brand, and they're going to back him, which makes him the babyface here and Pat McAfee the heel. So I hope not. I hope Adam Cole stays a babyface, stays a heel rather. I hope they don't change him into a babyface. And if they do call up Undisputed Era, I hope they call all of them up and not just Adam Cole. I don't know. So there's a lot of innuendo and rumor about that. What does Undisputed Era do? Do they get called up to the main roster? Does Adam Cole come by himself? Do the rest stay in NXT? Do they all stay in NXT and not get called up to the main roster? We don't know. But
I don't think they know, to be honest with you.
No.
I think that's why Adam Cole is in this feud, because it keeps him pretty much out of the NXT roster and out of the title picture in any other feud. He can stay in NXT, be in a program, finish his program up, and then it'll be easy to remove him from NXT and put him on the main roster right now.
Yeah,
because he's not involved in anything else. So it almost feels like, okay, we get the title off of Cole. He's all yours. Vince, take him. Well, I'm not ready yet. Give me some time. Shit. Well, get McAfee in a match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shockmaster in the crowd says, JD, I know you hate this, but in the comments of Pat's show on YouTube, fans of his show are talking about this match and saying things like, "Oh, I guess I got to watch wrestling now, so it's working." Yeah, it's working, but to an extent. It's a very small aspect of it all. It's not working in the sense of what NXT and WWE are aiming for. They're aiming for a ratings boost because they're using Pat McAfee's podcast, which has 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and how many fucking downloads on audio platforms. They're trying to use him in this role to generate interest for their show. Maybe get an extra 100K in viewership on USA Network. It's not working. It's not working. In fact, in my eyes, it's hurting the product because it's going against everything that NXT stands for. And they're treating Pat McAfee as if he's a celebrity, and he's not. I don't understand why. People could be interested in it, but it's not working in the way WWE wants it to work. They're coming off desperate. And I know I mentioned this on the podcast 2 weeks ago. This is nothing more than a paid personal advertisement for Pat McAfee's show. That's all it is.
Yeah, you got to think about it. Realistically, even if you get a bunch of McAfee's fans that want to come over and check out what he does in the ring against Adam Cole, if they're straight just football or McAfee fans, when this is over, they're going to be done watching. They're going to go back. Now, granted, okay, so, I mean, just to throw random numbers out, if 10 people came and signed up to watch Pat McAfee, I mean, if 8 of them go back and they retain 2, was it all worth it?
I don't know. Listen, man, I'm going to stick to my guns on this. I feel like I said the same thing when what's his face? It
wasn't worth it though.
No, it wasn't worth it. It's not worth it. They're ruining the integrity of the fucking show. That's my point.
It's not worth it. No.
NXT's integrity is not worth fucking Pat McAfee. This is what these fucking shills and everybody is so blinded to. Makes me fucking sick. You're not a fan of NXT. NXT's got a lot bigger problems than fucking bringing in Pat McAfee. And you're bringing in Pat McAfee to ruin the integrity of a show that was once the best promotion in all of North America, and now they're number 2.
Yeah.
Now they're number 2. I said the same thing about Tyson Fury. Didn't work. It actually killed the fucking vibe of the product. Worse than it was already feeling. Then you bring in Cain Velasquez, and now I hear Daniel Cormier is going to be picked up by WWE, supposedly. He wants a Royal Rumble moment. I read today. Are you serious? I don't give a fuck who Daniel Cormier is. What type of moment I want is a moment where Daniel Cormier is not in the fucking Royal Rumble. You can't bring in these other fucking athletes from another sport and come on into pro wrestling and expect things to be, oh my God, it's interesting. Generate interest. You're driving people away.
If they want to bring in guest talent to come in and do a headline match with somebody like an Adam Cole, they should have gone back to the premise they had when they did the Cruiserweight Classic. Bring in Kota Ibushi versus Adam Cole for a one-off.
Yeah.
Bring in Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
For a one-off. I don't care what they want. Pay whoever wants money, whatever they want, and you get me Will Ospreay in the ring versus Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And then you beat every rating, every buy rate, everywhere. You win.
Of course.
Not Pat McAfee.
Of course. But this, like I said, is a personal paid advertisement for Pat McAfee's show. He may be very good at what he does. He's good on the microphone. He's a good host. He's got his own little thing going on there. Good for him. You know, but he and everybody else like him that's on this D, Z, F, Humberto fucking list of celebrities, they don't belong in the WWE. I will never get behind that. I said the same thing with fucking Gronk coming in. Thank God that was fucking killed upon arrival. Can you fucking imagine Gronkowski at SummerSlam? My God. Jesus Christ.
It was coming.
I know. Thank God. We got another 3 years at least. We got 2 more years of fucking Goldberg. I don't need any more with Gronkowski there. Mercedes.
I forgot about that. I was listening to your show earlier. You talked about how Goldberg is a piece of crap because he did what he did to The Fiend.
Yep.
How about justice for Kevin Owens, dude?
Yeah, that too. I mean, everybody forgot about that, but yeah.
Kevin Owens was on the run of his career in WWE. He get Goldberged.
Yep. Well, I mean, listen, listen, at least at that point, we got Goldberg versus Lesnar and the story that was there, and they actually gave us a damn good fucking match at WrestleMania. Surprising with Goldberg's fucking standards. But my God, the inexcusable booking of The Fiend and Goldberg, how that even became a fucking thought in somebody's head when they woke up on that morning, should be fucking fired.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Don't get me started on that. Mercedes Martinez, Aaliyah, Robert Stonebrand defeated Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Black. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was the other way around. I'm fucked up in my notes here. Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Blackheart defeated Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah. So this was the babyfaces going over the heels. Rhea Ripley power bombed Mercedes Martinez over the barricade onto the concrete and took her out. So it looks like they're continuing that feud there. So Blackheart then at that point climbed the turnbuckles. Martinez was in the match before this all happened, tripped up Shotzi off the top rope. Robert Stone distracted the ref. Ripley made the save. She hip-tossed Martinez into the ring. Ripley, a moment later, posted herself. Martinez went to capitalize, but Ripley with a counter powerbomb Martinez over the barricade. Shotzi went up. She did a senton off the top to Aaliyah, and that was it. Blackheart went to cover Aaliyah for the 1, 2, 3. I'm very interested to see what Rhea Ripley does against Mercedes Martinez. I think the clash of styles would be very good. Shotzi is winning, so that makes me happy. Aaliyah, you know, I shit all over Aaliyah when she was with Vanessa Bourne. She's gotten a little bit better. You got to admit. She didn't look completely out of place in this thing. But I think the story of this match is, Jesse, Rhea Ripley, she is in the mid... Yeah, she's on TV, which is the one thing that all the people on social media will say. Oh, she's on TV. But my God, man, how the apple has fallen so far from the apple tree in Rhea Ripley. That creative decision about her losing to Charlotte Flair, man, every time I see her on TV, I can't get it out of my fucking head. What a terrible fucking decision. Look at where she is now.
It was garbage. I don't know. I don't know who in the back in creative can look back at everything Rhea Ripley for the year and be proud of how she was booked and treated. This is terrible, man. Yeah. I said this very same line when it happened to Asuka. I mean, but Rhea Ripley deserves better. Yeah. She just deserves better. I can go on for hours about why, but I said the same thing when it happened to Asuka when they ripped the title off of her to put it on Charlotte to make it a triple threat for all the titles. And I said Asuka deserves better. I'm going to leave it like that. She was treated wrong.
And I get she's only 22, 23 years old. She's got plenty of time to be the superstar that I think a lot of us expect her to be. But my God, that doesn't mean you pull the rug out from underneath her, bury her at WrestleMania, because that's exactly what it was. It was a fucking burial. And then you don't do anything with her to follow up, and you treat her as almost as if she's an afterthought, which I don't understand. And she hasn't really recovered from then. And the more you continue to book her in the way that you're booking her right now, the more I'm not going to care. And I can imagine how the rest of the audience feels about that. Maybe it's a situation where they felt they were pushing her too fast and they really didn't have any plans for her, or they didn't, she didn't fit their mold. Maybe they realize that she's not really all that good right now. Still, I don't know.
I mean, look, everybody can't be in the title picture at all times. I get that. I'm not sure why she's not champion right now, to be honest, but nonetheless, I get that everybody can't be in the title picture, but you got to find something a little bit more meaningful for her to do than this. I mean, because it does seem like she was dropped several pegs to be in this feud right now.
Do you remember when Triple H was interviewed about Charlotte Flair and everybody saying, oh, Charlotte Flair gets everything handed to her because she's a Flair and this and that. And then Triple H had to come out and defend Charlotte and say, there's a plan for everything. This is a small piece of a long-term plan and vision for the Women's Championship and Rhea Ripley and this. I'm still waiting for that fucking payoff. We'll be talking about this 2 years from now. I'll be documenting Triple H's fucking interview when he said that. Yeah, I'm still waiting over here. Where's the payoff?
Not happening.
No, it's not happening.
It's not happening. I mean,
Charlotte and payoff and her paying off somebody? Give me a fucking break, man. Jesus Christ, I haven't been a chance of robbing the fucking the bank up the street.
Which is what most people said when he gave that reason. And then the naysayers and everybody who supports WWE through anything said, oh, well, you got to give it a chance to unfold. It's called storytelling. You just can't do it. Well, here we are months later, and Rhea has not looked any better. Charlotte is out on personal leave, and she's involved in nothing important. She's just hanging around.
Now, Charlotte's going to come back, and she's going to own all the championships, and they're doing everything that they're doing on TV now to feed Charlotte when she comes back, folks. Just make sure you guys are aware of that situation. It is going to happen. And I don't want to sit here and talk about Charlotte. I'll be here for another hour. But finally here, Velveteen Dream and Finn Balor. Dream beat Balor to qualify for the ladder match, which I didn't really expect to happen, but it happened anyway. And we'll talk about that in a second. But let me go on with what happened here. We went to a commercial break. Balor began a big comeback after we had Dream going to work. He came off the top with a springboard into a flying double axe handle. Did Dream. Dream fell outside the ring. He was mesmerized by the title belt hanging above because WWE had the North American Championship hanging outside with two ladders on both sides. So Dream was in a trance looking up at the championship. Grimes, all of a sudden, I'm Cameron Grimes. I'm Cameron Grimes coming out to the ring. With his fucking top hat and his alligator skin. He comes walking out to the ring, running his mouth. So we went to another commercial break here. Grimes was yelling at everybody in the ring. He had the eye of Balor because they had a feud going on a couple of weeks back. So when the show came back from commercial break, Grimes was sitting on top of the ladder holding the North American Championship in his hands. He got an early thought of the ladder match at TakeOver. So he's talking trash when the match was going on in the ring. Balor began making a comeback. He exploded into a drop kick. Dream was briefly tied up in a tree of woe. Dream with a shot here on Balor. Grimes was still on the ladder watching the match, talking shit. Balor made another comeback. He climbed the ladder to go after Grimes. This allowed Dream to drop Balor on the apron. Dream went for a finish. Balor countered. Balor with a shotgun dropkick, set up for the coup de grace. Grimes, still running his mouth, distracted Balor like a dumb babyface, or a dumb heel in this case, is Balor. Dream gave Balor a beautiful vertical suplex off the top rope. So they're both down, and then Johnny Gargano comes out. He pushed the ladder over. Grimes fell into the ring. Grimes bumped the referee on the way down. Grimes took a double stomp from Balor and then a famouser from Dream, which looked shitty. Gargano then grabbed the North American Championship. He wore it around his shoulder. Bronson Reed comes out. He stormed to the ring. He scared Gargano. He rolled into the ring. Reed followed as Gargano was begging for Bronson not to do anything to him. Gargano then, like the heel he is, backpedaled. And then he backpedaled into Damian Priest. And here comes Damian Priest, the other guy in this ladder match. Gargano begged him off too. Priest punched him in the face. Reed then tossed Gargano over the top rope. Gargano went out to the floor. Where's the referee, you're asking, JD? He was still down during all of this bullshit. Priest now has the championship. He threw it to Reed. He caught it. And then Priest booted him in the face. Dream then rocked Priest with the super kick. And Reed with a huge fucking clothesline took both Dream and Priest out of the ring. Dream was then parading around with the championship belt on the outside. Balor clotheslined him. Balor ran across the ring, leapt over the top ropes with a flip dive on Reed and Gargano. Timothy Thatcher comes out of nowhere. He's now added to this melee. He appeared at ringside to attack Balor. He rolled Balor into the ring, and Dream executed a DVD, and then the Purple Rainmaker. And after all of this overbooked garbage, we finally got Balor getting pinned by Dream. Dream wins, qualifies for the ladder match, and that was it. And that was the end of Takeover. Very main roster-esque here. Velveteen Dream wins. Balor, seen people complaining on social media about Finn Balor, Jesse. Oh, why is Balor being treated like this and blah, blah, blah. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, man, because Balor was never meant to do anything in NXT. He was only there to bring notoriety to the brand when they moved to USA Network because he was a big main roster act. And he wasn't there to win championships. He was there to do that and put young talent over. So Dream wins. He gets involved. We got Balor and Thatcher, apparently. And Grimes, Thick Boy, Bronson Reed teased the championship. They both had grasps on the championship, so you know they're not going to win on Saturday. Dream held the championship tonight. He's not going to win it. The one guy that didn't hold the championship was Damian Priest. He's my pick. What do you think?
Not as high on Priest as you are. I mean, I don't find anything wrong with him, just personal preference. I'm going for the thick boy, man. I'm going for the thick boy.
Really?
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so.
Listen, I'm a fan of him too. I think Bronson Reed is very, very good.
Yeah. Look, everybody in the match, is good. I don't know why Dream is there, to be honest. And just to make it clear that I'm a huge Dream fan. Huge Dream fan. I'm happy that he has come as far as he did. I'm happy that he got over as much as he did. And I'm a firm believer in everybody gets a fair shake and innocent until proven guilty, but at the same time, given everyone else's treatment in regards to circumstances like these, I just don't think he should be put back on TV this swiftly.
No, I think they should have waited too. I'm a big fan of Patrick Clark. I'm glad he is overcoming all of the adversity. I don't know if it's going to be a good look for WWE or Patrick Clark when they go back to a live setting with fans, but clearly they are high on him. And I read a report that Velveteen Dream has backstage heat. There's a lot of people in the WWE roster-wise that don't really approve of him being back on TV. I think Nia Jax even posted something on Instagram where she left a bunch of clown emojis in a Instagram post about Velveteen Dream in regards to what Triple H said. I don't know if that means she is against or for Dream. I don't know. Nia Jax.
Did you hear in the conference call when her name got brought up?
No, I did not. I didn't hear that. I must have missed that.
Yeah, well, when the guy that asked the question about Dream and everything else, he mentioned Nia Jax by name. He said that it was some just some negative perceptions of it. Then he said Nia Jax has tweeted her dislike about it and everything else. What do you have to say about that? Now Hunter answered he didn't mention Nia Jax in the reply, but yeah, her name was called out specifically by a reporter for saying something publicly about Dream.
Huh.
So I wonder if she's gonna get a talking to about that now.
More than likely, I can see Nia Jax running her mouth when she shouldn't be running her mouth. It has nothing to do with you. You're awful as it is on the fucking show that you're on. Worry about that. You have no business talking about Velveteen Dream. But I am glad he's overcoming adversity. I just don't think the backstage heat right now is going to go away anytime soon. And you know that they're high on him. Just look at the way he was booked tonight. Look at the way he won tonight. The perception of Dream is he's being mentored by Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels has the utmost respect for, Triple H and vice versa. Vince McMahon looks at Shawn Michaels. I know I read a report several months ago where Vince looks at Shawn Michaels. He'll go to Shawn Michaels first before he goes to Triple H about anything. So that's how highly Vince McMahon thinks of Shawn Michaels. So if Shawn Michaels thinks that highly of Velveteen Dream, he's going to be safe. So it goes back to the political stance. If someone in a higher position likes you, you're pretty much safe to these people, no matter what anybody else is saying. So if Dream can just do what he needs to do and stay out of fucking trouble, stay off of social media, please, and just continue doing what you do in that ring like we know you can, eventually, it's not going to go away overnight, he'll overcome it. And I don't think it'll be a big deal. It'll be something that lingers with him for a very long time, but I don't think it's going to be made into a bigger deal like it was with the speaking out movement. But that's all we got here, man, as far as the show goes.
I think Dream might be an exception to the rule with all these accusations. There's all of these people, the dozens of them across the world that are being accused of all this stuff. There's only one person being accused of something involving a minor.
Yeah.
So I don't know about this one.
Yeah,
well, we had the Marty incident, but that it's a little bit different. It was not illegal where he was at that time. It's just frowned upon here. But Dream is, I mean, the stuff that Dream is accused of, people get federal time, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a wait-and-see situation, but you can see how high NXT management is still on Velveteen Dream. But, guys, we got some Super Chats. I am going to read through these, put on some tunes here, chill. If you guys have watched the show and we're here for the wrestling news and the review, we're going to read through the Super Chats right now, so I thank you if you're going to head on out. Thank you for stopping by and making us hopefully the #1 show on your Wednesday night with AEW Preempted. Really appreciate that. Daniel Easterday, $2 Super Chat. Thank you so much, man. How excited are you guys for TakeOver? Jesse, is your excitement for TakeOver as low as it's been in quite a while with what's going on? What are you feeling?
I think I'm actually more excited about the Thunderdome than I am TakeOver.
Yeah, me too.
Legit. I'm not even kidding, man.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what WWE does with the Thunderdome. But I am excited for TakeOver to an extent. And I'm excited to see what they do as far as producing Pat McAfee and Adam Cole. I'm excited to see what happens with Kross and Keith Lee. I think that should be a great big man match. It's going to be a good show. TakeOver always delivers, but it certainly doesn't feel the same as the TakeOvers that we remember with Gargano and Ciampa and Black and Ricochet and the NXT peak that the brand was when those guys were there. Popo Jr., $5 Super Chat. Drinking a nice cold Guinness with my new Guinness glass here. Bro, I got 2 of them. God bless JD and the OTS community. Hashtag MJF2020. Thank you, Popo Jr. Jacob Donnelly, $10 Super Chat. I honestly can't get into Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole. Sure, McAfee is a good talker, and the match might be okay, but I just don't care about him, and I'm just waiting for it to be over. Well, Jacob, you got what Jesse and I feel about it. I can't get into it for the reasons that we mentioned. He's a great talker. He knows how to shit talk, and I hope he can back that up in the ring. That's the one thing that Jesse and I are going to be looking forward to at TakeOver on Saturday night. Jacob with another $5 Super Chat. Also, seeing Robert Stone made me realize something.
During that match, I'm going to be dissecting what Pat McAfee does in that ring, because he is one good match away from his presence being justified in NXT, to be honest.
Yeah. And if he can hold his own against Cole, absolutely.
Yeah, everything else he's done has been on point and phenomenal with his mic work and everything else and the build to this match. So if he delivers in the ring, you know what? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to dissect that for sure. Jacob also says, also seeing Robert Stone made me realize something. Does anyone know where Chelsea Green is? Seems like she just disappeared. She may be a part of Retribution, man. We don't really know what's going on with that. But she definitely is missing after she left the Robert Stone brand. But I have no idea what happened. It's just something that a lot of people have been raising. Very, very obvious. And I just feel like it's just a product of NXT not doing much as far as creative. That's pretty much what it's based off of, you know. Popo Jr., $2 Super Chat. Congrats on the Fall Guy victory. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's like I won the fucking Super Bowl winning that goddamn thing. Manny P., $5 Super Chat. Congratulations on your first win in Fall Guys. And to everyone else, give at JD from NY 206 a thumbs up, as it cannot hurt, but only help. Manny P knows, bro. Hit that thumbs up, guys. We are at 447 right now. Let's try and get it closer to 1,000 I'd appreciate it. Ulysses with a $20 bomb. He says, JD, my brother, just to say thank you truly for all you do, because I would not care at all about WWE if I never found your channel now. 7 years ago, since the epic Royal Rumble rant you did when Batista won instead of Daniel Bryan. Oh boy, that was a long time ago, man. That was 2014. Jesus Christ. Yes, Daniel Bryan should have been in that Royal Rumble, not Rey Mysterio. Ulysses with another $2 super chat. He says, also, why is Finn Balor on NXT just to lose? That's his position, bro. He is a veteran to put over younger talent.
Guys, Finn Balor is bulletproof in NXT.
Yeah, totally.
He really is. I mean, he was on the main roster trying to get over, trying to do what he needed to do. In NXT, he's a god. It doesn't matter what he does, man. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Ulysses with another $10 super chat. So he had 3 in a row. Thank you so much, man. I tried to give Pat McAfee a chance because I did like him, but I guess that's because I prefer him over Sam Roberts. Yeah, me too. But now, after that pompous promo, I'm 1,000% hoping Adam Cole destroys that nobody. Well, I don't know if he's going to destroy him, but it's going to be a fight, and Jesse and I are hoping it's a fight and less of a wrestling match. JP5150, $5 super chat. What's up, my beard connoisseur friend? JD, I really want to know why in the blue hell did they use Saint Anger as a promotion to Takeover? Also, Dream winning becomes a nightmare for NXT. I don't know why Triple H used Saint Anger. They used the opening track of Saint Anger's album, Metallica's Saint Anger. Frantic. Tick, 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 tock, because of the Hourglass theme that Karrion Kross has going on. That album is fucking an abomination to everything hard rock or heavy metal. I don't know why they're using that album. Of all the Metallica songs and all the Metallica albums, that's what you're using? Give me a break. The video package was one of the best I've ever seen from NXT, but the choice of music, my God. Metallica is not the same that they were back in the 80s, bro. They have some of the worst music ever in their second half, or the second half of their career. JP, thank you so much, man. $5 super chat. Willie, $5 bomb. Wow, only 485 people to start. What the hell is going on with NXT? Nobody gives a shit. That's what happens, Willie. Nobody gives a shit about NXT. And the ratings reflect that. The ratings for the shows reflect how we in the community do as well. It's very important. Ulysses with another couple of super chats here. $5 bomb and a $2 bomb. Is it just me? Or is Scarlett Bordeaux just gorgeously hot? She may be the best looking woman in all, and I mean all of WWE, including Toni Storm. Sorry, JD. Jesse, what do you think about that one?
My wife's in the chat.
Toni Storm is still my number one. Ulysses also says...
EO.
There you go. Jesse got a quick EO in there. Ulysses also says when Vince sees her, he says, he will even forget about Charlotte. Absolutely. Even Alexa Bliss, too, possibly. Willie, $5 super chat. Great show. Thank you so much, man. Aracia, $2 Canadian from Jobber Luke Menzies, nearly killing Johnny Gargano. Or former Jobber Luke Menzies. Yeah, man. Scary. I just hope he's okay. With everything going on, says Francis Loop with a $20 bomb, with everything going on with Sonya and Mandy, how can we boo Sonya? Her and Mandy should be the most over female duo and go for the tag team title belts and get rid of this feud. Otis and Dolph end the feud and be friends again. Now, that's an interesting concept there, Jesse. Do you think WWE will abandon the Sonya Deville push as a heel that they got going on right now? Because they pretty much broke kayfabe with her being in the house while all this terrible shit was going on. Do they abandon that and kind of form them together being what happened in the real news, or they still push forward with Sonya as a heel?
It even kind of felt like that when the initial reports came out, it kind of felt like they were trying to avoid Mandy being found out to be the one in the house to try to save the feud. I mean, but nonetheless, I wouldn't go back, man. As a matter of fact, they need to push forward and harder because Sonya needs to be pushed. Sonya Deville needs to be pushed. Mandy is doing okay, but she is not at the level of Sonya just yet. I would keep Mandy on TV and keep her engaged in the feud. Keep her with Otis. I would go ahead and let Otis cash in or something like that. I think turning Mandy heel down the road after this feud is the best pick right now. But for right now, I would put Sonya Deville solo towards the top. Later, Mandy can turn on Otis to become heel. That's her best heel turn. Probably when he cashes in.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to give him the title, so let him cash in. Mandy screws him over, and then she turns as well. But they need to go full speed ahead with Sonya Deville, man. She has it for a heel right now in the women's division in WWE.
Yeah, she's doing the best work of her career, so I hope to see that continue. And I'm actually looking forward to see what her and Mandy do at SummerSlam with the hair versus hair. I do think Sonya's going to get her hair shaved. I don't think a blonde losing their hair in WWE, folks. Come on, that should be. That should be predictable as they come right there. Brandon with a $4.99 super chat. Enjoyed watching your Fall Guys this afternoon, JD. Thank you so much, man. Francis Luke, $10 super chat. How can Randy Orton beat Drew when he failed for months against Jinder in 2017? Are you fucking serious? 3MB surprised Drew has not brought up the fact that Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton failed at SummerSlam. I don't know if you got everything you need to say out there, bro, but you got a bunch of spelling errors, and you didn't really spell out SummerSlam the right way. But
Summer Scam. Remember?
Yes, it's Summer Scam. Yeah. Randy Orton, how could he beat Drew McIntyre when he failed against Jinder Mahal? Really? I might have to refund you the $10 fucking super chat. Come on. Aracia, $5 Canadian. I think it was Meltzer who hinted that WWE paved of Dream's early accusers, but not Josh Fuller since he came out.
Paid off?
I don't know. Did Meltzer really say that they paid off Dream's accusers? Come on.
I don't listen to Meltzer.
Please, stop making shit up, man. Phil, $4.99 super chat. I've been a strong advocate for NXT to be back in 1 hour because it's easier to digest. Do you guys agree? And what would it take to go back there? Not being on USA. I don't think they're going back to 1 hour at all, man. Jesse, you think they ever go back to 1 hour?
No, they won't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with digesting NXT at 2 hours. I could even go as far as saying I like 2 hours better than 1. But it's just the way they're going about doing things, it's just not the same NXT.
Wait a minute, you guys in the chat are actually saying Abaddon is #1 hottie? Are you guys fucking out of your mind?
You gotta ignore the trolls.
Really?
You gotta ignore the trolls.
Come on, man. I seen one picture without makeup on. I gotta see more to make that determination. I don't think she's top 3. Come on. We got Jose, $5 super chat. I just can't watch NXT because I feel like there is no point investing in a character that will eventually be buried. I think everybody feels the same way, man. Zach Jackson, $3.99, says nothing. Thank you so much for the super chat. Quintendo, what's up, brother? Nice to see you here. NXT was good, but to be honest, I was bored watching the show. Still can't get behind Cole vs. McAfee. NXT definitely has changed from 2018. Jesse and I say the same thing, man. Went over it a couple times on the chat tonight as well. Young Bibby, $4.99. Did you watch NXT when it was a reality show from 2010 and 2012? Yes. And I don't want to remember that. Also, were you a fan of Wade Barrett? Yes, I was. Big fan of Bad News Barrett, actually.
Barrett, man, yes.
Yeah. Bad News Barrett was fucking great until Vince killed it because it got over. It wasn't supposed to be as over as it was, and then he killed it like everything else. Do you think he should have been world champion? Yes. With Bad News Barrett. Absolutely.
It's so good. He was so good, man.
Jada, $5 super chat. When NXT took over SmackDown, Adam Cole beat Daniel Bryan and is now fighting a punter. Man, that was the best SmackDown of 2019. David Works, $2 super chat. NXT doesn't feel the same without Riddle. Is it just me? It doesn't feel same with or without Riddle. Riddle has nothing to do with it.
Riddle wasn't there long enough to be defined as, wasn't there that long.
No. Maybe with fans when he was there, yeah. But, I mean, he's not adding to NXT when he's there. He's not taking away that he's not there. Sasha Banks.
Buggs? Where's Buggs?
I don't know. Buggs needs to be on TV. I'm waiting.
Not behind plexiglass.
No. Sasha Banks with a $4.99 super chat. Is this the legit boss? I don't know. Probably not. Hopefully Balor wins back the Universal title that he never lost. Keep dreaming, honey. Chris, $9.99 super chat. What's up, JD and Jesse? Great review as always. Who do you guys think will be Kross's first opponent when he wins the NXT Championship? A baseball question. Do you love Fernando Tatis Jr.? I don't care. He plays for the Padres, so he's automatically an enemy. And Jesse, do you think Kross beats Lee on Saturday?
No.
No. There you go.
No.
No.
I think Killer Kross is built up to be a killer, as he should. I think Keith Lee should be made to look like someone who's just gonna be a transitional champion, as he should. But I think Keith Lee comes out of there as champion, and I think we get a returning Tommaso Ciampa for revenge.
I think that's a good
Keith
call.
Lee retains.
I think that's a good call. We could see that happen. I would rather that happen than him being fucking Retribution. Doesn't make any sense to him for him to be there. What is he retributing about? Well, what's his retribution for?
Well, anybody in retribution against WWE, it should all be against creative.
Could be the whole fucking roster.
Yeah, it could be anybody.
Sasha Banks with another $1.99 super chat says nothing, thank you. And finally, Inverted, $5 super chat. What's up, my friend? VIP of the Twitch stream. He says, invert the system. And Sasha Banks with another $1.99. What do you think Roman Reigns will, or what do you think, or when do you think, he says, Roman Reigns will return? Next year.
I'm hearing possibly Friday.
Yeah, we'll see. This Thunderdome could lead the way for Reigns and Lesnar to come back. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. They maybe, I don't know. Maybe they come back for a one-off since Amway hasn't been infected.
No.
Yet. So come back, do a one-off, go back home, stay home while Amway gets infected.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on Friday, folks. But that is your NXT review. If you guys enjoyed the stream, if you guys enjoyed the review and the wrestling talk tonight from Jesse and I, hit that thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. It was great to chat with you guys as always. And I will be back tomorrow with Off the Script, episode 340. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll probably talk SummerSlam tomorrow because that's what is going on this weekend. Jesse, any final thoughts before we get the hell out of here?
No. We'll see you guys, next week? Oh, we got AEW next week.
Yeah, it's on Thursday, I think.
It's on Thursday?
I think so. It might be. I don't know. I gotta check the calendar. If it's not, it's the next week.
That's pretty cool, man. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right, guys.
It's gonna be drinking time, buddy.
There you go. I don't know if I'm doing anything. I'll probably hop on Destiny and play some PS4. But thank you guys so very much for everything, man. Appreciate you guys stopping by. This has been Off the Script. This has been JD and Jesse with your NXT review. Thank you guys so very much. And I'll see you back here tomorrow with Off the Script Extra talking Renee Young and the Thunderdome. So check in for that tomorrow afternoon. See you guys later.
We are all great. Why am I popping up like this? That's weird.